Sup, YouTube. I look like shit because I just got back from being outside. Today's topic is three thoughts. Three deep, enlightening thoughts from running around barefoot again. Okay. First, this video is sponsored by this Hello Kitty water spout. Thank you to my sponsor. You know who you are. Okay. Second. Oh, so anyways, what the fuck am I talking about? It's been a while since I went outside and just like went on a jog, and I do it barefoot as you've seen in day 16's video. So I just went out again, and I always get some good thoughts when I go out there. So and it's been a few days since I've done my videos consistently, and I think it's partly because of the fact that I was kind of like getting shaken off my core a little bit by not keeping up with some exercise things. But anyways, here are three topics I thought up. Okay, 3 questions. We'll go with this one first because I can explain some stuff. I said I definitely need to do my barefoot solitary walks more often. Always enlightening. That's thought one. When you do something that's good for you and you feel great after, and you're like, why don't I just do this all the time? That's what this is for me. I just worked out in my living room, and then I hadn't gone out in a while to get my feet all roughed up. So I just walked out. And what I do when I go on these walks, this is partly taken from my Osho meditation books as well. Okay. I don't bring my phone with me. I don't bring my wallet, which is probably dumb, but I don't bring it. I only bring a spare set of keys so I can get back in the house. And the reason for the phone, it should be apparent. Like, I don't want any distractions. Music is also a distraction. People are very prone to think like, oh, well, music helps me focus. Music helps me do this. Music helps me do that. But like, at the end of the day, music is still a dopamine hit. You're still getting a dopamine hit. And the idea is when you're doing this kind of thing, like this kind of walk or exercise, you want to like reduce all these dopamine hits coming from different places. Have you ever just like sat there and shuffle, like looking for like the perfect song? It's kind of like a dopamine driven behavior. Anything that makes you into like a pathetic little slave to your device or toy like that is a dopamine driven behavior. And just get rid of it. Just don't bring it. It's not a big deal. Just don't bring your fucking phone. And people are like, well, what if I get mugged or robbed? I don't know. Do what's safe for you. The area I live in is very industrial and kind of boring, and there's not many cars. It's theoretically anything could happen while I'm out there, but I don't really think anything is going to happen, and that's why I kind of like that area, even though it's boring. I can just kind of run around, and there's minimal cars, minimal foot traffic. Ground is usually pretty smooth and flat. There's not much litter on the ground, just some goose shit I have to avoid sometimes. So for me, it makes sense not to bring my phone. Maybe for you, to be safe, you should bring it. Just put it on Do Not Disturb. Just be very diligent. I would recommend still just don't even bring the fucking thing with you at all. But if you can't do that, then just find a way. The main point is you don't want to be using it at all. Like, don't even use it for music. Don't even use it for the map. Like, you should know where you're going, and like, don't go that far out. Like, you don't need to go 5 miles. I went 2 miles once, and that was like a fucking journey. I go like half a mile, and then I just come back. It's not very long. Anyway, so that's the setting for that. Just go out there, no phone, no nothing. In my case, I'm the barefoot douchebag that runs around with his feet out. I feel like people want to run me over more when they see that I have no shoes on. I think that's a natural response to seeing barefoot runners, but I'm willing to put up with the discrimination in order to live a lifestyle free of the heel conspiracy. The heel and shoe conspiracy. Okay. Big Shoe was after me. They're trying to kill me from trying to prevent me from telling the truth to you. But what I do out there now, based on what I've read in my meditation books, is go out there and don't think about anything. Just kind of absorb everything. Don't verbalize your thoughts so much. Don't sit there thinking about things in your head, because it'll inevitably happen anyways, which is why I came up with some topics to talk about. Because, like, despite the best efforts to not think of anything, your mind will pick up on random things. And I find that usually when you do this, when you silence all the chatter, the things that do come out, that do inevitably surface, are things that are, like, more important. And one such revelation was, I was thinking about video games. There we go. Thought number 2. I haven't been biting my nails, dude. Look at my nails, dude. They're growing. I know my mom's going to be proud. Hi, Mom. Look at my nails. Video games. I was thinking about, like, oh, man, quit video games. And I was almost going to title this video, Quitting Video Games, like a clickbait title. But I'm not going to quit video games, because I've tried that before, and then I don't quit them. But for the first time, it became clear to me that basically, I think the only reason I play video games nowadays is just to play with friends. Like, I can act picky and say I only like to play these kinds of games and these kind of games. But the truth is, if someone gets me to play a certain game with them, as long as we're having a good time, I don't really care. And I like learning things, so I like learning a new game. But the problem is I never really stick to a game long enough to get good at it unless I'm playing with those people, right? And I don't give a shit to go pursue that in my free time. Like, I'm not going to go... Like, I really like the Dragon Ball Fighters game, but I pretty much only play it with 2 guys that I know. And I could practice on the side so I could kick their ass. But every time I do that, I just feel like I'm wasting my time. So that's why I like more casual games. And I used to like very story-driven games, and my reasoning there was that it would help me be like a better story writer. But like, I haven't been writing any stories lately. I got SMT5, which I'd been awaiting for a long time because I liked the story in that game. And now that I have it, I've played it for like 10 hours or something, max. And I just haven't picked it up again. I don't know. It's just that same thing of like, why am I doing this when I could be reading, or I could be doing this, or I could be going somewhere, or I could be playing with friends instead. I think this last week, it's probably fucking around too much playing games with friends, because that's just more fun than playing by myself. So the answer is not to quit video games. Far from it. The answer is like, well, the problem came from like, there's certain games that I'd be playing and I'd be like, I want to be good at this game, but I don't want to put in the work because it's just a fucking game. And then I realized it's just because like I'm playing a hard game with a friend. Like, I was playing Apex Legends with my buddy the other day. You know who you are too. And like, I used to try to play that game seriously, and then I stopped. So like, while I was playing it, I had this complicated feeling of like, I want to be good at this to play with my friends so that we don't suck, so that we have a good time. But also, this game's like kind of advanced. It's like, it's built upon shooters that came before it. So there's like a lot going on. And like, I'm not going to play that shit in my free time. So like, we'll just play golf with friends or something instead. I don't really give a shit. Like, that's what I realized is like, I don't really care what the game is. It's more about just who can I play with, and I guess, is the skill level high enough that they're gonna have a bad time if I can't keep up, or do they not care enough that they just want to play the game too? You know, there's different ways. Why fixate on this so much? Why fixate on this video game thing so much? I think it is one of my outlets. It is one of my social outlets. I have a handful of online friends, online onlys, and that's just one way that you can bond with them. So I don't want to like give it up. It's more just like an internal thing that kind of was like, I was getting snagged on. Like, why do I have this urge to play and then other times not? And I think it really just comes down to I just want to play games with friends, and I don't give a fuck what the game is. And I don't want to I don't want to play a game that's going to require me to practice it in my off time. I really hope everything's recording, unlike last time. Next point number 3. Ding, ding, ding. Look at these nails, Mom. Look at them. Are you proud? Why do I have creative urges but not fulfill them? I mean, this is like every artist ever, right? Artiste. I had an idea for a comic, like a 4-coma. If you're a weeb, you'll know what that is. That was kind of about my experience at my first big boy job. And like my novel, the reason I want to write it is because there's a lot of feelings and lessons I learned there that I think younger people could benefit from. And I think it could be funny because a lot of wacky stuff happened at that office. But since the job thing happened, it hasn't really been feasible to work on that. But I could work on it too at the same time. Like, I do have the time to draft some of those panels, the scripts, or the script for it, and I haven't. Like, I had my artists do the designs for the characters, and I got really excited about that. But I haven't done the work to do the script. Like, it just hasn't felt like a necessity. And there's also many other times, like one of the reasons I really like Dragon Ball shit so much too is because the organic storytelling that Toriyama has is really fascinating to me. Like, this guy started a story that's a motif of Journey to the West, which is like the Chinese equivalent of writing a story about Greek gods or some shit like that, okay? Like, that's kind of the same idea, right? Like, calling upon very old story and basing his characters on it, loosely basing them. But then he set it in a world that's both... I don't know, both. Like, I can't think of the other thing. But, like, his world is very sci-fi. Like, he has floating cars. He has these magical capsules that... well, they're not magical. They're scientific. They're scientific capsules that you throw on the ground and, like, a fucking house comes out of it and can be contained within this little capsule, right? And then, but we still have, like, cell phones and or not cell phones, but, like, house phones and fax machines, and no one has cell phones. It's like, kind of like this weird... placement, and like a lot of it takes place in the countryside too, like away from this sci-fi world. So there's like a sci-fi world in the backdrop in front of this like country rustic world, and then there's like supernatural kung fu stuff happening with the science backdrop, but science doesn't really become like, it's not like a battle of science versus natural things like you might think in this kind of setting. Like, the sci-fi really just is the background. It's not like he's not trying to prove any point about key energy and fighting being superior to science or anything like that. Like, that's not even it. It's just a flavoring, which is even more impressive to me, that you can just take elements like that and make it just like a flavoring on top of everything else you're doing. And then there's shit like Toriyama didn't even know that Goku was an alien until Z started, which is like when fucking his brother Raditz comes down and like, Goku, you're an alien like me. Like, he didn't have that planned at all. He just came up with it in the seat of his pants. And then I don't know, the series just kept going, and just the characters are very memorable and fun, and they've made so much fucking media off of this, and the story can just keep going and going. And it's just got so many wacky elements. Like, on paper, it doesn't seem to make any sense. Like, if you look at what Dragon Ball really is on paper, it's just very bizarre. And all the stuff that he retcons all the time. Like, he just writes stuff and then he writes himself out of it and then changes it later, and it doesn't matter. So like, fans and critics will complain about that stuff, but like, if you're a creator and you're trying to make something... I look at that stuff differently. I don't judge him for those things when he decides to change something like that. Like, or like he drops a character out of the story entirely. Like, they're not needed anymore. Like, get over it. Like, it could be handled better, maybe, but I don't know. So anyways, I think about stuff like that, and I think, how can I get back on my creative grind and make something, and I don't want to copy anyone. I don't want to copy Toriyama. I don't want to copy the JoJo guy, who I also learned a lot from. That's a good example, actually. Hirohiko Araki's book, it's called Manga Storytelling something or other. The book's literally right over there. When I wrote Kimochi Warui Diary, it was just like this boring little manuscript, and I knew it was boring, and I didn't know what to do. And then I read the manga storytelling thing that Hirohiko Araki wrote, and he explains how to make a plot progress using the Kisho Tenketsu format, which is like this old Chinese shit. And basically, I just put my story through that, and I just like plotted out every chapter in that style. So that meant sometimes like rearranging the facts of what actually happened. It is a fiction story, though. Okay, it meant rearranging things so that it took on a more interesting flow. And from what I've heard, unless people are bullshitting me, people have told me that they think the book's a page turner. They think it's very easy to get through and very fun to read. So that to me is a testament that what Araki taught worked. So, I don't want to copy anybody, but I could learn from him. So who knows what I could learn from Toriyama in the same way, right? But my solution, I'm wondering, since I've been reading so much Osho shit and it's been working for me lately, he has a book on creativity, and I'm kind of curious what he's going to say in there. Maybe something in there will resonate with me and kind of get me to understand why I get these urges and how to act on them, or maybe I don't need to act on them. Maybe, I don't know. I'm ready to hear other people tell me shit and see if it'll help me. Every now and then you try to solve a problem on your own, and then you need to step back and let someone else kind of give you some advice. Like, go out there and listen to someone else and see what they can do for you. But who knows? Maybe that book will be all whimsical, and creativity can be anything. Creativity can be leaving a penny on the sidewalk because you know that a stranger will pick it up one day. And the feeling, I don't know, something like that. Maybe that's his idea of creativity. Okay, and that I don't know if that'll help me too much. There is something to be said though about making sacrifices for your art, like doing something like that, and you won't see the results, but someone's gonna find it. If you can be that passionate about something, it's pretty good. It's what all true warriors should strive for. If you know that reference, what that's from, leave a king emoji in the comments. I'll say it again. This is what all true warriors strive for. If you know what that's from, leave the king emoji in the comments, okay? I think that's it. Those are my 3 topics today. And we're going to pray that my microphone picked everything up. All right. Peace out.